Have you ever wondered how well older characters work with the new reactions? Well, I have, and in Not Cry I actually tried a few of my old DPS characters with the new Lunar reaction, mainly by using the Inefa Columbina wheelchair. And now that Snezhnaya is here and we have some characters who can enable the new Stellar reactions from off-field, I'm asking the same question again. Can I make some of my older DPS characters work in the new Stellar teams? And I mean of course specifically Electro and Cryo DPS characters, and to get even more specific, I mean two of my favorite characters that I really want to try in Stellar teams, and those two are Raiden and Eula. And yeah, I can't wait to see how this actually works. They're definitely not gonna be as strong as Sandrone, that's for sure, but maybe we can pull out some hidden DPS potential out of them, who knows, with the help of not just Odette, but of course also Yae C1, which also makes this kind of a cool Yae and Raiden team. You can finally kind of play them together again. But yeah, of course I'm not gonna use Raiden and Eula at the same time here, though Raiden is actually a decent support for Eula. But as our fourth team slot here, I'm probably just gonna use Nicole to buff their attack a bit more. So we have Odette to enable the Stellar reactions and do some damage from off-field, Yamiko also for damage off-field and some more Stellar damage, and then Raiden and Eula are gonna be our DPS. I'm first gonna try Raiden, and then we're gonna switch to Eula. And maybe we'll have time for some other characters after that as well. But yeah, let's take a quick look at my Raiden build here first. It's actually been a while since I've done a Raiden showcase, but her build hasn't changed in years and she works fine, even though the build isn't great. I would say it is pretty decent. She has a 2000 attack with 62 crit rate and 155 crit damage. The crit rate could be a bit higher, I know, but again, she kind of works, you know. Sometimes I miss the big crit on her burst, which is kind of bad, but oh well. It is fine. She has 227 energy recharge as well, which is of course very important for her, and I'm actually using the Jade-Winged Spear on her. I don't have a signature weapon, and I'm using the catch on Xiangling instead, but this also works pretty well on her. And as for the artifacts, of course, Emblem of Severed Fate, with a focus on crit, attack, and energy recharge, though I don't have any energy recharge on the Flower and Feather. I didn't even realize that. That's okay, I gotta change that at some point. But we of course have an energy recharge Sands, an electro damage bonus Goblet, and a crit damage Circlet. The constellation is a 2 in her case, and the talents are all at level 10. Yes, she's triple crowned because, like I already said, she's one of my favorites. Same for Eula, by the way. They're both triple crowned, and she's also C2 if I remember correctly. Yeah, but I didn't get all her constellations from the gacha. One of these was from the To Temper Thyself and Journey Far event. And yeah, since we're looking at Eula already, might as well go over entire build. Even though she's the second character I'm gonna test. She has 2200 attack with 74 crit rate and 189 crit damage. Her energy recharge could be a bit higher, but it's fine. I have her signature weapon at R2 even. Don't ask, that was the whole thing where I was actually rolling for another weapon. I mean, I was also wanting her weapon, but I also wanted the other weapon in that weapon banner, and that was before the entire fate point system was a thing. Yeah, that was very early on. So I didn't get the other weapon. Instead just 2 of these, which I'm not complaining about because I love Eula, but yeah, that's why I have R2. And as for the artifacts, I'm using a 2-piece combination of Pale Flame and Bloodstained Jewelry, and of course, here as well, I mainly looked for crit and attack and a bit of energy recharge, with an attack sense, physical damage bonus Goblet, and a crit rate Circlet. Now let's put Nicole in the team. So this is the team we're actually gonna use, and then after I tried this with Raiden, we're gonna replace her here with Eula. And yeah, we could probably also use Chi-Chi or Alyosha in the first slot, but they're not gonna do much for our DPS here. They are just gonna buff Odette and Yaemiko, but Nicole buffs all 3 of them. Since, you know, Raiden and Eula, they can't really do stellar reaction damage on their own. So Chi-Chi's buff is kind of wasted on them, and also some of Alyosha's buffs are wasted on them as well. Nicole, on the other hand, with her attack buff, she just profits the entire team. And yeah, if you want to know more about my Nicole, Yamiko, and Odette builds, I have made showcases for all 3 of them recently. I mean, Odette just came out and I made a showcase for her. Nicole, I also made one when she came out, which wasn't that long ago. And Yamiko, when I got her C1, also not that long ago. So if you want to know more about their builds, I recommend you watch these showcases. But yeah, now without further ado, let's go over to one of the bosses that I always like to test characters against over here in Natlan, Kongamato, because he's a pretty simple to fight boss, no complicated mechanics, but he is very tanky, which makes him good for testing. But after that, of course, we are also gonna go to the test dummy in Miriaster Wonderland to see how much DPS these characters are actually doing in stellar teams. Just gonna start with Yamiko here, then we activate Odette's buffs and do some damage with her, Nicole, and then we unleash Raiden. Big damage here. I'm not sure if we hit the crit on her burst. Maybe we didn't, because I didn't see a big damage number. But it wasn't quite one rotation. So definitely could be better. We had to do like 1.5 rotations. I think we can do it in 1 rotation. I think we probably missed the crit on Raiden's burst. So let's try this again. Also, I'm wondering if in this team it's actually worth it using Yamiko's burst. Usually I skip it in the stellar team, because it's usually a DPS loss, but Raiden does buff burst by quite a bit with her skill, so it might actually be worth it. I'm not sure, we can test that later, but for now let's just do the usual here. And this time I used Nicole first, so that she also buffs Odette. Okay, there we did some big damage now. Stop rolling away, Kongamato. Yeah, okay, still not really in 1 rotation, but it's fine. Basically during the setup for the 2nd rotation he dies. So it is like 1.2 rotations or something like that. Definitely slower than my Sandrone, but still decently fast. Raiden herself isn't getting buffed much here, of course, aside from Nicole, but the others don't really buff her. But they are doing a lot of damage themselves, maybe even out-damaging Raiden, I don't know. So overall, it kinda works, but it's definitely not the best team ever. But yeah, let's switch over to Eula now and see if she can do it any faster. Stellar Conduct, as far as I know, also decreases physical resistance, just like the normal Superconduct. I'm not sure though if it's a higher physical rest rate than normal Superconduct or not. It probably is, right? Would be kind of a missed opportunity if the physical rest rate from Stellar Conduct is lower or the same as normal Superconduct. But yeah, Eula, of course, has fallen off quite a bit, even more than Raiden over the years, sadly, because physical has gotten nothing in terms of support. It's kind of sad. But yeah, let's see, maybe this team is actually kind of good for her, who knows. Just gonna use Odette as usual here, and then we switch to Eula. We don't have the burst, there we go. Now we have the burst. Oh, he's rolling away again. I hate it when he does that. Stay here. Okay, now the big burst hit. How much is it gonna do? 327k there, not bad. And now we have to set up the next rotation, and yeah, much like before, much like with Raiden, that's when he dies, when we set up rotation number 2. So that was about the same. Because yeah, I'm guessing most of the damage is probably coming from Yamiko and Odette. And that's probably why these teams feel so similar in terms of the overall DPS against Kongamato. But you know, still decently fast. It's definitely not a slow clear of this boss. But yeah, let's just go to the test dummy now. I want to see what the actual DPS here is. I'm hoping for at least 100k. But who knows. Gonna start with Raiden again, just like before. And yeah, let's just see how it goes. First we set everything up, and then we unleash Raiden here. I again didn't see a big damage number, but maybe I just missed it among all the other damage numbers. But I probably missed the crit, if I had to guess. Get your burst of that? Okay. I wasn't thinking we were gonna have energy issues in this team with Raiden. That is unusual. But yeah, in terms of DPS, we had almost 80k here. That's not even close to 100k. I was really hoping we would get at least 100k. But yeah, it doesn't seem like that's the case here. Last rotation. Okay, 90k. We're getting close to 100 at least. Okay, there we go, 88k. That's not bad. That is definitely enough for Abyss and Menacing Stygian. From my experience, 80 to 100k is in about the range where you can clear most endgame except maybe Fearless Stygian. And we are not talking about Dire. Nobody cares about Dire, that's the whale mode. But it's definitely far from my Sandrone team, of course. The damage distribution is looking... Miko's actually doing the most damage. And Odette is also out-damaging Raiden. Yeah, okay. I was kinda expecting it, but I didn't expect Miko to outdamage her by that much. That is a bit surprising. I thought maybe a few percent, but like that's 14%. That is kinda insane. Now I'm really wondering if I should use Miko's burst, since that also gets buffed now by Raiden. Let's try a rotation with the burst. In that case, I should probably start with Raiden's skill and then use burst immediately. Raiden's skill, then Nicole, then triple skill burst. Then or that. Yeah, I think that's the rotation we gotta go for here. So we do this, then we set up her turrets, then we burst with her, then we unleash Odette, and then we unleash Raiden. Okay, immediately we're at over 70k here. Not bad, over 80k. This might actually be better than the rotation did previously. Then we do the same thing again, basically. But we don't have the burst yet, still in cooldown, so let's do this instead. And then we unleash Raiden again. Okay. Yeah, the rotation went a bit weird there, but we're at over 100k now. This is actually better. Wow, okay, yeah, so Miko's burst is not a DPS loss in this team. Very nice to know. But it has a long cooldown. It's still in cooldown when I try to use it. But yeah, we're at almost 110k now. It's going really well. Okay, there we go. 109,000. That's actually not bad. 100k is kind of the benchmark that you wanna hit to clear all of the endgame except Dire. Like, you might struggle on some fearless bosses still in Stygian depending on their mechanics, but usually 100k is enough if you can cater to the mechanics of the boss. Like, for example, if it is a stellar boss, then this team should actually work since it is a stellar team and we're doing a lot of stellar conduct damage here. Mainly Odette and Miko are doing that, of course. But Raiden is also doing some damage, you know, I mean, 32%, that's a bit more than before. So that's still not bad, and she is out-damaging Odette now. But yeah, of course, Yae still is doing the most, especially now that we're using the burst, she's doing even more. Overall, really not bad. I'm happy with this. So let's switch over to Eula now and see if she can also do 100k. I'm not sure about that, because Eula is usually a bit worse than Raiden. But if he could get at least 80k here, that would be pretty cool. Okay, so let's do this. We just set up Yae, Nicole, Odette. And then we unleash Eula's burst. Some big damage here. Okay, we're at over 80k already. Perfect. That's what we like to see. Can we push this even higher? To like 100k. Well, we're not getting her burst in the second rotation, which is bad. But I was kinda expecting that already, since my Eula doesn't have enough energy recharge. Can still do some decent damage here. And we're at almost 90k now. Very nice. And now for this third rotation we do have her burst again. So let's see. Is 100k possible? It should be, as long as we don't miss the burst crit. And I probably jinxed it now. But let's see. Okay, we didn't miss the crit. Come on, 100. Almost. 98k there. After the final rotation. I mean, that's not bad. That's not far behind Raiden. Okay, that actually, you know, the team works really well. I was hoping for 80k, I got almost 100k. We did kinda reach the 100k there at one point, but only for like a split second. So maybe if we get a few more crits and stuff, we could do it. I'm definitely gonna do at least one more run. And yeah, let's see if the 100k is actually possible. Okay. First burst hit soon. There we go. 470 now. Okay, that was actually the highest hit we've seen today. Not bad at all. That brought us to over 90k immediately. Oh, but we missed a bunch of crits there on her normal attacks. But now we're over 100k. Wait, okay, this is actually working. Perfect. Love to see that. Can we stay up there at over 100k? Third rotation now. Come on, Eula. You can do it. I believe in you. You might even out-damage Raiden here. Come on. 104. Big burst hit now. Okay, 110. And yeah, this is where we ended, and that's actually more than the Raiden team did. Wow, okay, I didn't expect that, but I'm really happy about it. Let's see the damage distribution. It's actually a bit closer between Eula and Miko here than it was between Raiden and Miko, which is also interesting, but Eula is doing about the same percentage of the team damage as Raiden did. So it's very similar in performance, which is surprising. I really was expecting Raiden to be a lot better than Eula in this team, but turns out both of them work pretty well here and are about equal. Though it might be because I have Eula's signature weapon at R2 and I don't have Raiden's signature weapon. We should take that into consideration. So if I had Engulfing Lightning, especially R2 Engulfing Lightning, then Raiden would probably get like 120k DPS here. Either way, both of them managed to get over 100k, and that's all I wanted. So I can definitely call this showcase a success. I just love trying out things like that, you know, using new supports with old characters. You often realize that the old characters still can do some pretty good damage if you just give them some of the newer supports. I mean, it's the same for Yoimiya, for example. My Yoimiya can also reach over 100k with Nicole and Jeffrus and so on. And yet people on the internet always say that old characters are complete trash compared to the new ones. I mean, yeah, compared to my Sandrone, who does 160k DPS, I guess that is bad, 110. But like, you can clear endgame with this, so who cares? Who cares about the 50k more DPS that my Sandrone does? I mean, it makes things easier, of course, and that is nice, but like, 110 is also good. And yes, she is getting carried here by the sub DPSs. I'm not denying that, but like, I'm playing her off-field here, I'm having fun with her, so that counts as Eula being valuable in this team for me. 32% is also nothing to scoff at. And I just love it when I can use all the characters, especially some of my favorites, with some of the new supports. Anyway, now that we've done all this, and we've proven that Raiden and Eula can indeed be used in stellar teams, let's try some more things. Because I have some other Electro and Cryo DPSs that we could try out here. So let's see, who could we use? I mean, Skirk, for example. She doesn't really need the help of the new supports. She's already pretty strong as she is in the teams that I have for her. But I'm wondering, how well would she work in this? She's really not made for Stella. I mean, the other two weren't either, but Skirk kinda really wants some Hydro as well. But she also does work with Electro. We can generate some of these Void Rifts that she needs to absorb with Superconduct. And I'm guessing also Stellar Conduct can do that as well. Though Freeze is of course the preferred reaction. We could also try like Clorinde. Or Keqing even. Sino is a character who actually got buffed and can actually really be used as a very strong DPS in Stellar Conduct teams now. This is kinda intended for him now, which is why I'm not gonna use him. I wanna try characters who are not intended to be used in Stellar Conduct in this video. So sorry Sino, but not today. Not today, but Clorinde I definitely wanna try, and Skirk. I think these are the two I'm gonna do next. Let's see how that goes. But yeah, the setup is the same as usual. And then with Clorinde we just do this. Okay, we are already at over 80k there. Pretty nice. Second rotation now. Clorinde is also now in the selector for To Temper Thyself and Journey Far, so I'm probably gonna get a constellation for her at some point. Not sure if she's gonna be the first one I'm choosing, but probably actually, because I really like Clorinde. And I've already chosen most of the characters that I like from the first wave. But yeah, right now here, at C0, she can't quite keep up with Raiden and Eula. We only got 95k here. I mean, she is C0. So yeah, keep that in mind. Raiden and Eula were both C2. So Clorinde at C2 could probably keep up and even outdamage them, since she's a little bit newer than them. But yeah, the damage distribution here is still Yamiko at the top, of course, but then Clorinde actually not far behind, doing actually a bit more than Raiden and Eula here in terms of the percentage. But yeah, this also works. We're getting almost 100k here with C0 Clorinde. With C1, which is now free basically, we could probably reach over 100k. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm gonna actually test it when I get to C1. I could do a dedicated Clorinde showcase then. So let's leave it at that for now with Clorinde and switch over to Skirk now. And here I'm wondering if Nicole is still the best option here for a first slot, or if we want another Cryo or maybe a Hydro character here to create more Void Rifts. Let's just keep the team the same as for all the other runs and just switch the main DPS, because that's what I've been doing so far in this video. So yeah, let's just keep it consistent. And then we just do the same thing again. The usual rotation. Set up all the sub DPS stuff here. And then we unleash Skirk. And yeah, Skirk immediately in the first rotation goes to over 100k, to no one's surprise. Almost 120, over 120 here. Okay, yeah, to no one's surprise, Skirk is by far the best one we've tried today. Yeah, that is definitely not unexpected. We are probably even gonna reach 130k here. We're pretty close already. Yeah, there we go, over 130k. Let's set up the third rotation now. Do big damage with all that, and then we unleash Skirk a third time. Can we get 140? I don't think we can quite get there. Okay, yeah, 137 though. That is far better than the others. But once again, keep in mind that the investment level is not the same. As you can see, I have Skirk's signature weapon, and she's also C1. So yeah, not quite the same as the other characters, but either way, she definitely did the most here. And she's actually the actual main DPS. For once, Yamiko is not out-damaging our main DPS. And Skirk is doing 48%, almost half of all the damage in this team. So yeah, she is definitely the strongest here. She still holds up really well, even with all the new meta that we have now, the new reactions. And she can even be used in one of these new reaction teams, as you can see here. But yeah, overall I would say I'm pretty satisfied with the results of this showcase. Eula and Raiden definitely feel viable with these stellar supports, and my other Electro and Cry DPSs as well, of course. So yeah, it was definitely worth trying this. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please leave a like, comment and subscribe for more Genshin Impact and other gacha content. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.